Hey y'all, welcome to Andrea Speaks TV. I am your host, Andrea, and I'm bringing you commentary you can use. So this is episode 5. That's right, y'all, episode 5. And today I want to speak on assets and liabilities. What are assets and liabilities? But before we get into it, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. All right, y'all. So again, I want to thank you all so much for your support in helping me to grow my channel. Please make sure you share my channel with your family and friends. I have several videos with valuable information, and I upload new content every week. Okay. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. That's at Andrea, Andrea Speaks, Speaks TV. All right, y'all. So we're going to get into our show. The topic today is what are assets and liabilities. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Bear with me just a moment here while I get everything going. All right. We're going to talk about assets and liabilities on today. All right, y'all, assets and liabilities. Let's talk about it. So what is an asset? An asset is an item or property having some form of value that provides a future economic benefits to its owner. So in other words, when you think about assets, think about something that is putting money in your pocket, okay? Whether it's an item, property, something that's putting money in your pocket. All right, here are some examples of assets. Now, by no means are these the only assets out there, but these are some of the more common ones and maybe some that you have not even thought about before. So I'm going to start at the top left with insurance policy. Now, you may be wondering, okay, well, how's an insurance policy an asset? Well, there are some insurance policies that build cash value, specifically what's called a whole life policy. Now, I'm not an insurance agent, so for more detailed information, I do encourage you to speak with an insurance agent or salesperson. They can give you more details, but I do know that there is a type of insurance policy called a whole life policy that builds cash value over time. And guess what? That is generating income for you. So again, assets, we want to think about items that generate income. All right, so one of them is an insurance policy. All right, the second picture is a house. Now, some people would debate and say that a house is actually a liability, but I want to give you some examples of ways that people can use a house or a property that they own as an asset. For example, you can use it as an investment property, rental income. If you have someone who you rent to and they pay you rent each month, that is an asset for you. Okay. Also, some people use services or they use, for example, like Airbnb, where they rent out their house, and guess what? That's generating income. Okay. Also, dividend paying stocks. Now, several of you may say, okay, Andrea, now we see how the stock market is going. You know, my stock value is down. How in the world is stock an asset? Well, you got to consider what's called dividend paying stocks. So there are some stocks out there, and there are several that pay, whether it's quarterly dividends, or some even pay monthly dividends, okay? So again, generating income for you. Here's a picture of a red car or a car. Now, some people will say, okay, how can a car possibly be an asset? Well, if you have a classic car or collectible that, over time it increases in value, that becomes an asset for you. Also, some people use their cars to generate income by partnering with services such as Uber or even DoorDash. So those are some ways that you can use your car or your vehicle as an asset. If you own a business, okay, a business can be an asset to you to help generate income for you, your family, and for future generations. And right now, during the time that we're living in with the pandemic, there are so many different resources and aid to businesses. So, definitely people who are business owners that are in need of help during, the pandemic. it's basically an asset to them because they're able to get different sources of funds that otherwise would not be available to individuals. So owning your own business is definitely an asset. Intellectual property is an asset. Now you might say, okay, Andrew, I haven't heard that term before. What exactly is that? Intellectual property, some examples would be like if you own a copyright, if you have a trademark, if you license your merchandise, or let's say, for example, if you write a book, you give someone else permission to use it and you generate income from that. That's intellectual property. And also cash is an asset. All right, so these are just a few examples just to give you a visual of assets. Let's talk about liabilities. Now, liabilities are items, property, or obligations that reduce the economic resources of the borrower or owner in the future. So, in other words, liabilities take money out of your pocket. Okay, so if you're having to pay that expense, and money is going away from you, we can consider that a liability. All right, here are some examples of liabilities. Credit cards. Some people would debate and say, well, you know what? I earn cashback rewards, or I earn miles with my credit card, and therefore that helps generate income. Well, that may be true, but we do know that there are some credit cards out there that do not offer any type of rewards. So for the most part, if you're making purchases with your credit card and you're having to pay that back monthly, that becomes a liability. All right. Also, your car can be a liability. It has been said that as soon as you drive your car off the lot, it depreciates in value. And as a matter of fact, sources also share that your car depreciates in value the most during the first year. So if you're just driving your car around every day, you're not using it to make money. You're just driving it, whether it's to work or to school or, running errands wherever you're going, your car is a liability. Also, student loans. Student loans is a liability. Student loans are also a topic in the news. There have been talks that President Joe Biden is looking to consider canceling student loan debt, whether that be $10,000 or $50,000. We don't know exactly yet. I know they're in talks about possibly canceling student loans, but for many, many, many people, student loans have been a burden. And I definitely feel like there should be some changes as it relates to student loans, but that would be an example of a liability. Any type of personal loan, line of credit that you receive, for example, from a bank, that is a example of a liability. Now, in the previous slide, I explained how a house could be an asset, but then some would also debate that a house is a liability. For example, you take out a mortgage and you make monthly payments. Again, that's money going out of your pocket. That could be considered a liability. And then also your home is generating expenses. You have utilities, you have taxes. So again, these are things that some would argue would make having a house a liability. Now, there are definitely advantages. There are many advantages to being a homeowner. Having something that not only that is yours, that you have for your family, but also being able to pass it down. But many would argue that a house is a liability. And then you have taxes. So we all know that taxes are unavoidable. And so these are all examples of liabilities. There are others out there, but we also know that these are some examples as well. All right, I did not want to only talk about assets and liabilities without discussing net worth. So I want you to understand net worth. So let's picture this. Here's an example. Understanding net worth. If you sold all of your assets and used the cash to pay off all of your debts or liabilities, your net worth is what would remain. So if you take your assets minus your liabilities, that equals your net worth. All right, so all of this information that I have presented, you're probably wondering, okay, why is this information important? So knowing and understanding assets and liabilities is a key component of obtaining and maintaining wealth. So the goal should not only be to create create wealth, but you want to grow it and also keep it and pass it down to future generations. All right, one thing that I want to do is I want to challenge you all to think. Now, think about this. What do you want to leave to the next generation? Okay, me personally, and there's been research and sources out there that say that each generation should strive to do better than the previous generation, for several reasons. One being that you want your children and their children to have a much better life than what you did. Not all of us were come from wealth. Not all of us were born. There's a saying that says "born with a silver spoon in your mouth," and so a lot of people had to, they had to learn things on their own, and be a first generation wealth builder, so to speak. So I want to challenge you to. I want to challenge you to think, what do you want to leave to the next generation? Maybe you're in a position now where you say, you know what, I'm tired of working on this job. I don't want to have to keep asking for time off, or I want to have more time with my family. How can I do that? So, I would say take whatever situation you're in. Maybe it's a situation where you're trying to do better, or you say, you know what, I want to have my own business one day. I don't want to work for anyone else. I would say take that and use that as your motivation to go harder, um, so that you can, leave a legacy and build something to where your children, maybe they won't have to work for anyone else, and it just be a continuous cycle of independent, self-sufficient individuals. So that's what I want to do. I want to challenge you all to think about that. What do you want to leave to the next generation? Okay. All right. So if you have found the information in this video to be helpful, please take a moment to hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Tell your family and friends about Andrea Speaks TV. Encourage them to watch the videos. Even you can go back and watch the videos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, as I shared earlier, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is at Andrea Speaks TV. And also, if you are in need of emergency food supply, survival needs, we know that, who could expect something like the pandemic to happen? And I even did a video. You can go and watch it right here on the channel about food shortages. Food shortages are coming? Are you prepared? So if you do need emergency food supply, some survival needs, I encourage you to check out my website, which is preparewithandrea.com. Again, that's preparewithandrea.com. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you all for tuning in to my video on what are assets and liabilities. Share this, because I believe this is something that, whether you're young, whether you have small children in middle school, high school, adults, I believe this is information that people of all ages can benefit from. So again, thank you all so much. I appreciate your support. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, Andrea Speaks TV. And until next time, y'all be safe and take care.